What is going on, guys? Inside New York Sports Podcast here, and today we have a first collab in a long time. It's been over a year, and why not? We got Jake Mills here. How are we doing tonight, Jake?
I'm doing great. I'm glad we finally correlated this together. You know, me and Vin, we do a lot of stuff at the university we go to, Wilkes. We do a lot of sports talk with the stuff with the co-curriculars there. I'm glad we finally got together and did this on our pages.
Yeah, and we've been talking about this, like he said, for a while. He's obviously a Flyers fan. We're Yankee fans together, but he's also an Eagles fan. Unfortunately, I'm a Giants fan. So, but we do have the Yankees, of course. But why not? And like I said, he's a Flyers fan as well. I say let's get right into the Flyers, man. How are we feeling about this playoff push for the Philadelphia Flyers? They have a great opportunity. They won 7-1 yesterday against the Winnipeg Jets on the road. So they've been playing some really solid hockey.
I think solid is an understatement. I mean, it's exciting. You know what I mean? Like, it's nice to see this because there's been points in this season where we've had streaks like this, but it hasn't really fallen off. Like, yeah, we lost last Thursday and, all that. But, like, there hasn't been much drop off. Like, the Flyers will play, 2 or 3 games in a row, fantastic, and then get embarrassed the next night. But they haven't done that. They've been playing good. It's been consistently good. And it's a young team, too, which I like. I mean, obviously, there's some veteran presence in there. We know Travis Konecny's been there for a minute. Sean Couturier, let me tell you, last night he looked like prime Coots. He really did. He looked like prime, like he was in his prime. He hasn't been that way much all year, but last night just came out. I don't know what happened. But, yeah, just incredible. And you know what? It's shaping up to be possibly with the Penguins first round, which absolute cinema if that happens.
And you know what? I tell you what, I did tell you the Flyers still had a chance.
You did, and I doubted you, but you're right.
And the fact that we might be able to get a Battle of Pennsylvania for the first time since 2018, which I believe that series went to 6, if I'm correct. I think with
I
Pittsburgh.
think so. Yeah, I mean, it's been the last time we even made the playoffs was 2020, and with that run when we had the bubble. Remember the bubble run they had?
Yeah,
oh my God, that was a great time. I remember watching Flyers hockey on the beach that year. That was incredible.
Yeah, David Quinn was the New York Rangers head coach. That's how long ago that was. We've gone through like 2 other coaches, Gerard Gallant and Peter Laviolette, and then obviously Mike Sullivan. But we're not talking about the Rangers at all.
Talk about that.
Don't want to talk about them at all. But I do say for one thing about your Philadelphia Flyers has there been a specific player that season that maybe took an unexpected jump, or just someone who's been the most impressive to watch?
Well, obviously, it's been Trevor Zegras. Obviously, I think we all know that, and I kind of think people expected him to be good. But let me tell you, I'm really impressed with Noah Cates. Noah Cates is a forward that I think has been phenomenal for us. But obviously, I think Trevor Zegras would be the too obvious answer because we all know that. But I think Noah Cates has been playing fantastic, and I gotta say, Porter Martone has made his impact early. The 2 younger guys that have just recently brought their way up, another one being Alex Bump, who we brought up from Lehigh Valley about a month ago. He's been pretty decent too, but Porter Martone has been playing very well. But yeah, Noah Cates, I'd say, has probably been the most impressive to me, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I was also going to ask you what your thoughts were on Porter Martone, because it feels like he's getting a ton of shots. He's playing with a lot of energy to start his.
He's made an impact already. Like it's crazy. We knew he was good. I mean, I saw him play at Michigan State. I went to the Penn State outdoor game, the one they played at Beaver Stadium. They played at Michigan State, so I actually watched Porter play in person, and he's a great hockey player. And I knew once he came back, once he was going to be a Flyer, he's going to be really good, and he sure has already, which is amazing.
Yeah, and let's take into the scenario that they make the playoffs and they're taking on the Pittsburgh Penguins in the first round. What would you say is maybe the biggest concern entering a series like that when you're playing a division rival like the Pittsburgh Penguins? A little bit more energy in the building because it's a rivalry. The fans don't like each other. The players don't like each other. So what would you say going into a series like that would be your biggest worry?
Veterans for the Penguins. I think, and it's not that the Flyers are a bad team. It's just how many of those guys have played in a playoff series?
Not many.
How many of those guys are over the age of 25 or 26? Not many.
Not many.
Like I said, our veteran presence is small. It's there, but it's really small. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, Risto, we know he's been there. Rasmus Ristolainen, he's up there in age. And then, obviously, TK and Sean Couturier. But, like, our main players are all young. Zegras, Michkov, Cates, Drysdale, Cam York. I mean, like, all those guys are, like, they're not veterans. You know what I mean? That's what's going to set – if we do end up playing Pittsburgh, that's going to be – a big concern for me because we're going against freaking Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin. I mean, come on. You know what I mean? That's just obviously we know we've beaten them this season a couple of times. It's been back and forth, but like when it comes to playoffs, it's a lot different. You know what I mean? That experience is going to take over, and that's my concern when if they do get to that point, which they shouldn't not. There's no reason why they shouldn't at this point. You know what I mean? They haven't clinched fully yet, but I don't see them not clinching when that time comes. They have 2 tough games coming up, so they have to win those. They have to.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, just the way that I look at it, I so see this being a series that's kind of just like the match made, Battle of Pittsburgh, Battle of Philadelphia, all of that. I mean, I think for my sake, outside looking in, obviously, because my team's not making the playoffs, but I would probably say my biggest concern is going to be when it comes to a series like this, how Dan Vladar is going to impact this series, I think. And also, this is a team this season that has not been good on the power play this year. So I think, with a series like this, when you get an opportunity, like maybe a Malkin takes a penalty or, Brian Rust or any of their defenders, I want to see how Philadelphia is able to take advantage of that and be a force on the power play. Because if they just wipe out this power play, which is currently at a 15% clip, that's not good, right? So if you completely erase that and you turn the page, Zegras scores on the power play or, other guys, I think that could really impact you. So I think the power play, and if you guys can get consistent goaltending, can be the difference of beating a team like Pittsburgh, who is kind of a team that I didn't expect making the playoffs, honestly, in my opinion.
I don't think many people expected them to be in the position they're in because I think because even like people I know that are Penguins fans, like at the beginning of the year, it's like, like Sullivan's gone. Crosby and Malkin are getting up there in age. We don't have a lot of the other guys that have been around for years that, they either got traded or released and stuff like that. It was a different vibe for the Penguins this year. And like, I felt like, at least from being from around this area, being from the Scranton Wilkes-Barre area, knowing the Penguins being around, the baby Pens, like I felt like it was going to be a year where a lot of their guys would be getting called up early because Pittsburgh wouldn't be doing well, and they'd have to rely on the younger prospects to do something. But didn't end up being that way, obviously. But yeah, I'm a little concerned about the goalie can play as well, because that's been an issue even in our strongest parts. I mean, Dan Vladar has been very, very good. He's been a solid goalie for us. We haven't had a solid goalie since Carter Hart, really. And unfortunately, when we had Carter Hart, we didn't have this high-powered offense. It was just the two different things. Like one thing was good and the other thing was bad, and now it's vice versa. You know what I mean? Like this Carter Hart with this offense that we have now would be unreal, right? We wouldn't even be questioning anything. But it's just the way it's shaped up with Sam Harrison being our number one goalie the last 2 years. And listen, he plays good games, and I understand why people defend him, but it's not enough. He's just so inconsistent. You know what I mean? He'll have a game where he's a brick wall, and then the next he'll give up 6 goals in the third period. I mean, I just don't get it. You know what I mean? But Vladar's pretty good. I wouldn't say he's like a top 5 goalie in the league or top 10 even. That's even arguable, but he's a solid goalie. He's a goalie one, and I think that's what we've needed. I think this offseason we need to go find a solid goalie number 2, because that will fix a lot of problems, I feel like. And we need to get a top defenseman, because when Travis Sanheim and I think Cam York are your top line of defense, there's a little bit of an issue there. I think you need to go get someone. You got to go get someone who's a solid top defenseman. But our offense is just so good. I mean, I've been saying that all year. Our offense is just so explosive that it doesn't even matter at times.
Yeah, and I think you could even kind of say maybe not the power play, but for Pittsburgh, I mean, Stuart Skinner, Artur Silovs, we've seen him in the playoffs. So, like, I could even say, like, you could question Pittsburgh for their goaltending. I mean, I know Stuart Skinner was able to bring an Edmonton Oilers team not really him, but Connor McDavid, but that, gets them to the Stanley Cup. But I really think this is going to be a matchup. I really do. I really do.
I hope it is. I hope, because that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I think it would just be, it's great for the brand of hockey. You get two teams that I think have some underdog in them. I mean, I don't know if you would have told me that the Philadelphia Flyers would be playing the Pittsburgh Penguins in the playoffs this year, right? Like, I feel like a lot of people kind of had, see the Washington Capitals, figure their game out. I even know that people thought the New York Rangers they had a bad year last year. They're going to turn it back this year. They finished last in their division. They have a projected top 8 pick guaranteed. So, I mean, a lot can change, and it starts with the offseason, getting good players. Even with the Pittsburgh Penguins, they sniped getting Anthony Mantha and Justin Bradzo. I mean, those two guys have been phenomenal for them. And even some of their younger guys, too, have helped out. Sidney Crosby when he's been banged up, or Kenny Malkin's been banged up. So
a lot of the guys
I'm really, yeah. I mean,
Avery Hayes and Rucker McGroarty is another guy that comes to mind. Just great young prospects.
Heck of a job by Kyle Dubas. I tell you what, he has done a phenomenal job from a team that you could say was in a rebuilding year to a year they're top in the Metro outside of Carolina. They've done a really good job against the Metropolitan this year. But, I think another thing that's interesting, the Flyers are 11-9-5 against Metro teams and 9-11-3 against Atlantic teams. So that's going to be interesting, too, if somehow, some way that the Flyers don't play against the Penguins. But I really think that's going to be the first round matchup, to be honest, with the 2 and 3. So it's going to be interesting for sure. But let's get talking about a little bit of NFL. Let's talk about the Philadelphia Eagles, man. I know we've talked a bunch on our radio show that we do at school about all of this, and Eagle fans are frustrated with Sirianni. Do they believe in the process anymore? Their offensive line coach leaves them. Is AJ Brown getting traded? So there's been a lot of fire going around Lincoln Financial, and they finished 11-6 in the regular season. They lose in the first round to a banged up San Francisco team,
which I called, and no other every Eagles fan said I'm doubtful, and you're miserable. You're a hater. I was right. Okay.
Yeah,
I had so many Eagles fans tell me, "Oh, come on, please, you're a doubter. What's wrong with you? You're not a real fan." Yeah, I am, because I knew we were going to lose that game. But anyway, go ahead, Vin. Keep talking.
Yeah, and I mean, this was an Eagles team. Like, yes, they finished 11-6, and they win the NFC East, but it just felt like there was no consistency with the offense. Kevin Patula was the hot topic. They used to refused to move on from him because he was like Sirianni's best buddy. But yeah, I mean, there were some good for the Eagles, but I think a lot of Eagle fans are probably just going to say it's more of just really bad football and just not much consistency. But I want to get your thoughts
for our standard. That's bad football. You know what I mean? Yes. Like, you're gonna win a division and win 11 games with a roster like that. It doesn't matter what happens with a roster like that. You should win that many games, and they do. Doesn't mean that they're good. Doesn't mean that they're playing up to par, which they absolutely did not. And I'll throw a lot of criticism at Kevin Patula, because I've said this the whole football season. He was not able to get the most out of our best players. So he was not using Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown. Devontae Smith was okay, obviously, but and Dallas Goedert we know was very good, but he wasn't using our big guys in the right way. So Jalen Hurts, for example, look, this sounds horrible, but he's not. You can't rely on him to throw the football perfectly all the time. And I get in debates about him being a top 5 quarterback, and for me to say that's pretty bad, but his play style is more on the run. And you know what? That's okay. There's a lot of quarterbacks like that. But when we try to rely on him to throw the deep ball like that consistently, and mind you, it's to the wrong receiver, I feel like personally, especially because you'll come to realize if we do more shows in the future, like being a former football player, I break things down like this, like really in depth kind of. AJ Brown, for example, you know how big that man is? You know how big that man is? Right? It's like
Yeah.
6'4",
Yeah.
240.
6'4",
He's a
probably.
big dude.
Yeah.
Big for a receiver.
He's a
Why?
physical wide receiver. That's his trait.
That too, yes. So why in God's name are we throwing him 40-yard passes, 30-yard passes, and then we get the guy who's 160 pounds in space? That doesn't make sense. Why would you? You know what I mean? I feel like because AJ, and it's not even just me just saying that to say it. If you watch some of the games where they actually did that, their offense did good. They get AJ Brown on a slant. Get any NFL safety, most NFL safeties, put him on AJ Brown one-on-one in open field. Who's winning? Who's winning?
AJ Brown probably most of the time, I would say.
Right. You put Devontae Smith in that situation, 160 pounds, not a great receiver. Better, he had a better season than AJ Brown did, I think. But why would you not want the big physical receiver in open space and maybe get a guy like Smitty, who we know has good hands and is quick and is very slim? Put him in the situations where he has to grab the 30-yard deep ball or the 40-yard deep ball. Put him in those situations, not AJ Brown. AJ Brown did it. He did have some good plays with deep balls, but I feel like it wasn't used enough. And same with Jalen Hurts with the option. Why did we not run the option at all? You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. We kept running the same things that obviously didn't work, and there was too much incompetence with the offense. It just nothing ever changed, and I just think the team's fallen from grace. I think Sirianni's I just think he lost the locker room this year, and obviously, I know it's people look at it like, oh wow, crazy, but I look at it like this: Jeff Stoutland was there for 13 years, and for him to leave just like that's got to be a sign of something. I know it's one thing, I understand, but that's got to tell you something about what's going on behind the scenes there in Philadelphia. Then the whole AJ Brown thing, you know what? If it's going to be this much drama, then why would I want him? You know what I mean? I know he's fantastic, and if we lost him, it'd be a big hole in our receiver room. But there's too much drama around it. We don't need it right now. The spot they're in, they don't need it.
No, not at all. And I guess going back to your AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, for how you would want to run the offense, right? If you're the offensive coordinator, you want Devontae Smith going for more of those fade go routes, and you want AJ Brown more of those curl comeback routes.
Slants and comeback. That's all you need the man to do. Big physical receiver, get him one-on-one with any corner or safety in the NFL. Do it. That's what you need to do. And you got to get Jalen Hurts running a little bit more. I don't understand why we didn't do that. Because again, go ahead.
This was the first season he did not finish with 10 rushing touchdowns since his first year in the first year in the NFL.
Yeah,
so that's definitely different.
Right. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's absurd. I'm glad. I wish we fired him halfway through the year and not at the end. But move on and see what happens, because I don't think it's going to be very good.
Yeah, and I think there has been a lot of talk, rather, not really, but it is the main topic about the Jalen Hurts extension talks are not really there because they want to see how he's going to do this year. Do you feel that's the right move to do, or do you think extend him now? Yes.
I think after this season, and obviously the year we made the Super Bowl and then the year we won it, obviously, I think he still has a little more to prove. You know what I mean? Obviously, been great. Don't get me wrong, but I think he has a little more to prove first before we extend him. I think this year is going to be this year is telling for a lot of players. I think it's telling for him. It's telling for Dallas Goedert, who I think will be fine. I mean, he was Jalen Hurts' best receiver, I think personally. But I think Jalen Hurts needs to prove a little bit more. He needs to stop the ship from sinking this year, basically. I think that's how they're looking at it.
Yeah, I would say so. I think a lot of the weight is going to be on Jalen to get back to his Jalen Hurts self, where he's running the football, he's scoring touchdowns like that. He's making himself and the Eagles offense more of a threat than the good old meme of AJ Brown is down there somewhere, or we'll do a halfback draw with Saquon Barkley, right? I think.
Yeah. Oh, and I even talk about Saquon.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not. The more I look at it, it's not his fault. I mean, obviously, when you have Fred Johnson playing right tackle for you, that's an issue. And I don't think Tyler Steen was very good this year at all. So that also doesn't. The offensive line this year rotationally was messed up with injuries and stuff, and I think that played a part in it. But again, I think Saquon. I don't think Saquon had a terrible year. The more I look back on it, he didn't really have a terrible season. I just think the injuries up front played an impact on how he did. You know what I mean?
Still had 1,200 rushing yards. Like, he was
Yeah, I mean, what most teams don't even have a back that can. Like half the team's running backs can't even get to 1,000. So, like, you know,
yeah,
you can't ask for more than that.
You know, another thing, heading into the draft plan, big draft for the Philadelphia Eagles. They lose Reed Blankenship. They sign Tariq Woolen from the Seahawks. And, you know, there's been a bunch of different rumors of where they're projected to take. Some have said maybe Caden Proctor. Some have said Caden Proctor might go to the Browns. There's been a lot of different players moving around. I want to know what your thoughts are in the draft that you have the selection of. Where do you think the best pick and position should be that the Eagles should focus on where you're selecting?
You know, some people may disagree with me on this, but I'm going to personally say that we need to do what we did with Cam Jurgens and Jason Kelce and draft a tackle to be Lane Johnson's predecessor. We need to do that now because it worked. It worked with Jurgens and Kelce. I think we need to get someone to. I think we need to draft offensive line first round. I think that's exactly where we need to go. I think Fanu is going to be too high for us to get him because the Eagles currently have the 23rd pick. Yes, 23rd. But again, I actually have a mock draft pulled up right now. They're saying we're going to take a receiver, which
Jordan
Tyson? Guess no. ESPN has Denzel Boston, yes, from Washington. Which, I mean, I could see that, but I don't think that's a first round selection. I think we should go offensive line first, then get into the receivers a little bit. But like, I don't know because this whole AJ Brown situation kind of puts you on a loop. Like, okay, are we gonna have to draft another receiver and like be like, hey, you have to fill this massive hole that he left because we lost a top 5 receiver in the NFL. We need you to do this, but then you do that and he's still there. They don't trade him. I think a lot's going to come down to if they trade him or not, and I think the front office obviously knows way more than the public does. So they may already have a plan to trade him, and we don't know. You know what I mean? And then that might lead to them drafting a receiver. But I personally think they need to do what they did with Cam Jurgens and take an offensive lineman in the first round because I think that would be the best move. I think Caden Proctor would be perfect. I think that he'd be perfect pick for us.
Yeah, I think you can go a lot of different ways with the draft. I think the Denzel Boston is solely, like you said, AJ Brown replacement. But then again, I feel like, the Eagles are still I think the Eagles are still a good team. Obviously, I still think they have a lot of really solid pieces. I like the Tariq Woolen signing that you guys made. What are your thoughts on selecting a Reed Blankenship replacement in the Dylan? I forgot his last name, but he's from Oregon.
I honestly, yeah. I mean, that would also be another option as well to kind of upgrade the defense a little bit because, I mean, it seems like every year we lose at least a couple solid guys. I mean, we obviously keep some of our good guys, especially in the secondary. But yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if they went that direction either because Reed Blankenship was a very impactful secondary player for us. I feel like you know what I mean. People may not look at it that way, but I feel like he was, and I think that's a big loss. So. Yeah, I think that's a potential going for us to draft some secondary. But I think still I'm going to die on the hill, draft the tackle first round.
Yeah, so his last name is Dylan Thieneman from Oregon. 96 tackles this past year. Pretty solid player. Just looking at the Tankathon mock draft there.
Yeah.
It's usually pretty accurate, I would think. For the most part, I think there are definitely some picks where it's
how accurate can mock draft really get, right?
I like the ones that get crazy, like honestly, like the trades and all that. But
they're fun to read.
But what are your expectations kind of for the Eagles next year?
Well, I'm hoping they can at least make the playoffs again. I mean, that's the point I'm at with this team. A lot of other Eagles fans will probably think differently than me, but I just think it's at a point where is it really going to work Sirianni's coaching style, the way he runs things? Because at first I liked it. At first I really did. And I look at it now and I feel like he lost the locker room. He lost his guys, I feel like. You know what I mean? He kind of lost it. You know what I mean? It stopped working after a while. That shtick got old. And I think it's going to show when we're not doing too well next year. Here's my prediction. I think the Eagles are going to be I feel like they're going to be good still. You should be with that roster, like I said earlier. But I think there's going to be a lot of red flags in the early to mid-season, and Sirianni, we make the playoffs, first round exit again, Sirianni gets canned. That's my prediction of what happens at the end of this year. And this is a perfect segue, I think, into our next topic if you want to move into it, because I think your team is going to be it's going to be a dogfight for the division this year.
Yeah, the next topic we do have is talking about the John Harbaugh New York Giants. That was the big move.
Telling you that a year ago.
What's up?
Imagine someone like from the future come back and telling you that like a year ago.
Well, I tell you what, I'll tell you this. My first year here at college, they said that Daniel Jones was going to lose Brian Daboll the job. And I was like, there's no way. And then, obviously, Brian Daboll ends up losing the job.
Yeah.
But I forgot the head coach that he named to me that was going to come here. But I know it wasn't. It may have actually been Joe Brady, I think, actually.
Really? Yeah.
It may have been that type of swap or something like that. But listen, man, I'm excited for the New York Giants. I think it's been an overall, I'd say maybe it's a bit harsh, but I would say like a B off season. I think I wouldn't necessarily say it's in the A because I need to see more from the defensive line to help out Dexter Lawrence, who we'll get into a minute as well, and also the offensive line. The Daniel Falele signing is definitely the one that people look at like, whoa, why are they signing Daniel Falele?
Yeah,
they've signed Lucas Patrick, they've signed Aaron Stinney back, and a lot of Giants fans are like, where's the Greg Van Roten re-signing? And I don't know if he's going to come back. But the Jermaine Illuminor signing was one of my favorite. The Isaiah Likely signing, I think, is going to be a very underrated signing for Jackson Dart, because I truly think Isaiah Likely actually has the full opportunity to, emerge into a very good tight end with Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart loved Theo Johnson last year. Now he gets two solid tight ends, and I think if Theo Johnson can help himself out by limiting the drops, I think that'll be a great duo. But it's going to be interesting, right? John Harbaugh is not a perfect head coach. He blew a lot of leads at Baltimore, and we know that was a big problem for the New York Giants. That was the big storyline. That's why Brian Daboll got fired after the Bears game, because they couldn't withstand the lead. They couldn't keep a lead against the Broncos. They decided to play prevent against a kicker who nails 60-yarders. And ironically, Shane Bowen is now with the Patriots. He actually ended up getting a job, which is interesting to me. But
hey, Kevin Patullo did too. So
they're just giving jobs. Just give jobs, right? But
I mean, to be fair, Patullo did go to the Dolphins, who are going to be the worst team in the league next year. But still got a job.
But it's interesting there. But I guess getting into the first part of a few of the bullet points that I have written down is the New York Giants draft plan. Now, I did post a mock draft earlier today, I believe, of who I had at pick 5, who I had at pick 37, and who I had at pick 105, right? They don't have a third-round pick this year because they traded that for Jackson Dart. And right now, I'm stuck between a lot of different routes they can go to, but I do think it is going to be an Ohio State Buckeye going to the New York Giants, and I did have Caleb Downs being the pick at number 5. I think it shouldn't matter that it's a safety at pick 5. It really shouldn't. This guy is, in my opinion, the best defensive player, and I think he's the smartest defensive player in the NFL draft, and he's a player that fits the John Harbaugh system, an elite safety that can play anywhere. He can even play and rush the quarterback as well. Great against the run. And with Caleb Downs, this is what you need. You need a guy that can actually control the defense and be a ball hawk. I mean, the Giants got burnt way too much in the secondary. And if you add a guy like Caleb Downs, he automatically makes you a much better unit. They signed Tremaine Edmonds to help out the linebackers with Micah McFadden. I could understand going Sonny Styles as well to pair up Tremaine Edmonds and Sonny Styles. That would be a pretty elite combo. So I think that's kind of their fallback option. I don't think they're going to go Jeremiah Love, but I do understand how they can go and establish their offensive identity in being that rushing attack. We're going to throw Jeremiah Love at you. We're going to throw Cam Scatterby and be like a Detroit Lions type offense. So I don't mind that idea, but I think the likelihood of all of it, I think it's upper 60%. It's Caleb Downs, and I think it goes Sonny Styles, Jeremiah Love, and I wouldn't rule out taking Francis Maui-Noah. I really don't. I think if you take Francis Maui-Noah, I've talked this to a few friends of mine, you plug him in at offensive guard, you start at right guard because you're not starting Daniel Falele, and then after the 2 years are up at Jermaine Illuminor's contract, you put him at right tackle if they feel comfortable there. I know there are some concerns there, but I actually view him more as a guard with how he is built and how he moves.
Right. Yeah.
So I wouldn't mind if they actually went offensive line because you can never have too many offensive linemen. And the biggest thing that I've told people, and I don't think people are stressing it enough, is you have to protect Jackson Dart this year. Yes. You have to.
How many concussions he's had? Yeah, you gotta. Yeah.
The guy is in the protocol more than any other quarterback this year, I think, right? Every single tweet is, he's in the tent. Oh, no. And Russell Wilson's coming out, and he's getting booed. So, I mean, there is a lot of good that can come out of this draft, but I think if you're not going to establish offensive line in your first round, I think they're definitely selecting an offensive guard in the second round. They've been rumored to select Chase Pisonis from Texas A&M. They've been rumored to take Emmanuel Pagan from Oregon, who is on the older side. I think he's 25, but I think he's the most NFL-ready player that you could just plug in there. But, yeah, and in the fourth round, I had him taking a cornerback, Will Lee, out of Texas A&M. So, those are my three players. I think it's the biggest needs, right? You need some secondary help. You need defensive line help to help out Dexter Lawrence and Brian Burns and Abdul Carter. Linebacker is still an option as well, and cornerback. You don't have a cornerback one.
Yeah, and you know what, Vin? I think personally for the Giants, like a non-fan, they need to go defense because I think their offenses, the pieces are there. And the offensive line has been an issue for years, and I think it's actually one of the best it's been, and it's the best it's been in some time, I think, personally. I don't think it's 100%, but it's the best it's been because that's been a big issue for you guys, And Jackson Dart looks like a very good quarterback if he can stay out of the concussion protocol. Cam Scatterby is going to be back, who I think personally is going to be one of the best running backs in the league come soon. That might be a hot take, but I truly do. The way he plays is just incredible. And then I think the receiver room's not bad either. I mean, I think they're still going to be solid in that regard. You know what I mean? But defensively, I think they definitely could use some help in the secondary because you got your D-line, which, obviously is a little in the air right now with a certain player. But otherwise, I think they're very, very good. They're one of the best. They're one of the that D-line is very, very stacked. The linebacker core is good. I think secondary. I think Caleb Downs is probably the best option out there for you guys right now.
Yeah, I think one of the other big things for this draft is not only crushing it, right, getting good players, but you only have 2 picks in the top 100, right? So that is from a team that has been in the bottom of the league. You only have 2 picks in the top 100. And that was a shock to John Harbaugh when he first knew about that, because typically when you're in the top 5, you usually have a load of draft picks, but the Giants have made some moves. They traded for their franchise guy. And, just one other thing of what I'm interested in is they are the second highest team in spending for defense. $181.4 million is
Really?
being spent. Yes, is being spent on their defense in the 2026 season. Right. So they
That's
have
surprising.
invested. They've invested a lot of money in their defense. So it has to be a top 10 unit. I've said top 15, but when you're
Yeah,
spending that much money, you have to
and
be a top 10 unit.
that's really
Yeah.
shocking because I think defense has been their big problem, really
Yeah.
big problem. Especially with the offense they had this past year. For them to win 3 games what was it 4? They win 4.
I believe they
3
won
or
4.
4. Yeah, for that to happen with that offense, I know there were some injuries, but come on, really, let's be honest here. That shouldn't happen with the guys on the roster.
Yeah, no. I mean, other teams, the Steelers are number 1, the Ravens are number 3, and the Bears are number 4 for spending.
And the Ravens, obviously, their defense was shaky this year, but the Steelers' defense is always really good. You know what I mean? That's just, those are teams that have good defenses.
Yeah, and let's get into the Dexter Lawrence talk. I do want to hear your opinion first of when he requested the trade, of what your thoughts were of it, and then I'll have mine.
Yeah, it kind of shocked me a little bit. Be honest with you, I don't know if he's expecting more. Which, if I'm the Giants, pay up. Don't lose Dexter Lawrence. I think that'd be horrible for you guys. But I don't know. Is John Harbaugh going to want to be like, I want to invest in future talent instead of retaining someone like Lawrence? But like, I feel like you have to. I feel like that's a must do. I think you have to keep him around because he's your best up front. I think, personally.
Yeah. I think, I think when it comes to your most important players, it's number 1, it's Andrew Thomas, and number 2, it's Dexter Lawrence. And if you want to go vice versa, be my guest. It's still 1A, 1B, right?
Yeah.
And with Dexter Lawrence, he wants a contract of like 3 years, $90 million, so $30 million AAV, right? Right now, he's the 12th highest paid defensive tackle in the league. And I have said it multiple times. He's a top 2 defensive lineman in the league, in my opinion, only behind Chris Jones. That's just, I think he has shown on a consistent basis. Even, Giants fans want to talk about this down year he had. He was 6th in pass rush win rate. 6th. That doesn't sound like a super down bad year. I understand he wasn't in shape in camp, and I think a lot of that goes on Brian Daboll for just a lot of the things that Brian Daboll let go. But you can't lose a guy like this. Dexter Lawrence there's none in the class. There's none in this class that you could say, yeah, we'll trade a first and a second. No, I'm not trading Dexter Lawrence. He is one of your best players on your team, and he's one of your most important. You lose a guy, you have the worst defensive line in history. That defensive line without Dexter Lawrence is the worst in the Giants franchise history. You lose him.
Yeah.
You lose him, you're done for. And I know you were a bottom 5 defensive team in yards allowed per game, 2nd worst rush defense, only 30 yards ahead of the Cincinnati Bengals, right? And rushing, running backs have a field day on you, right? Jahmyr Gibbs in that game had a field day on you, right? Yeah. So, but that's not just on Dexter Lawrence. That goes on the coaching that has not been able to develop more. That goes on, you spending on the wrong players. I mean, you spent $181 million. That doesn't mean you spent on the good players. You can very well and spend on very bad football players. Which
I mean, look at how they've been for the money they spend. Look at how they've been.
Yeah, like if you're going to spend that much and invest that much, I expect you to be a top 10 unit. I'm not saying top 15. I'm saying top 10 at this point. But yeah, it's been a rather interesting offseason. But the one thing I wanted to just fit in was he's doing this for leverage. I solely think he still wants to be a New York Giant. This is not like, all right, I want to get the hell out of New York. I don't think it's a situation like that. He just wants to be paid. He's the 12th highest paid defensive tackle. He is much more worth than $20 million. But the Giants feel this is a great price. We have you at this. Why would we want to rip up that contract and add $10 million and pay you $30 million a year when we already have you on a good deal? Yeah, Dexter Lawrence has seen numerous defensive tackles get paid, and now the time is up. And he felt Why not do this? It's a perfect time to ask for a trade, and it's really just you better pay me. I'm not going to show up to your voluntary camp. I don't care who the head coach is. And
Yeah,
Dexter Lawrence has shown every single year, honestly, he deserves to be one of the highest paid players in the National Football League and on the New York Giants.
I agree
But
with you on that 100%.
yeah, so I think it's mainly a leverage thing. The Giants fans that are asking to trade him, they don't understand if you trade him what your defense is going to be on the defensive line. You don't understand. You do not
Yeah,
understand the circumstances that you're going to face if you decide to trade away Dexter Lawrence and then he has an all pro year. You've seen it
somewhere
with
else.
Xavier
Yeah.
McKinney. You've seen it with a lot of guys. It's happened numerous times. At some point, you have to figure out, let's pay the man, let's pay what he's worth, and let's keep him around because we truly need him. But I think it's time to probably get into the biggest topic, in my opinion, outside of the Philadelphia Flyers. We got to talk some Yankees baseball, man, of what has gone on.
Unfortunately, and not in a good light. Like I said to you after the first game, and after the World Baseball Classic too. Now, look, Vin knows this. I watch baseball. I'm not as in depth with baseball as I am with hockey and football. But I watch, and I'm a Yankee fan, and I definitely follow. And I know the game, but like, I saw something. I saw something in that first game. I saw some in that first series against San Francisco, and I wasn't liking it. It raised some red flags for me, and I think we're seeing it full swing right now.
The San Francisco series is interesting how you take that series. I would probably say if you want to raise the concern, it started in the Miami series, in my opinion.
Yeah,
If I'm
that
being,
one too. But again, I
so
saw subtle little things in that one too that like really kind of caught my eye. And I saw, and it's just there's a lot. It was little things because I saw it in spurts. I didn't see it fully. I'm like, because I got that way, and I'm like, okay, look at our lineup. They'll get through it, and then it just progressively got worse, and more people were seeing it. I'm like, I saw this at the beginning. I saw this coming.
yeah, I mean the pitching has been pretty much what you've wanted. I think the starting
I
rotation.
think honestly, Vin, I think they've been a little more than we expected in a good way. In a good way. I think I think we knew they were going to be good because of how much they had coming back. But I tell you what, man, they've been pretty solid. They've been keeping us in the games. We haven't been winning them, but they've been keeping us in, I think.
Yeah, and I think the concerns that you were probably referring to is running back the same lineup, and
Yeah.
you
Yes.
got production at the start, right? You were 8-2, and now you've lost 5 straight. You got swept by the Rays today, and one of the biggest things that I stressed about is you got to be good against the AL East, and you're starting off 0-3, right? That's not a good look. First series back in the Trop, and the struggles continue because I feel like anytime the Yankees go to the Trop, it's always a weird series. The Rays are getting those blue
Weird,
pits.
dude. It's a weird
Yeah.
venue. I want to
Yeah,
get there before they decide to move out of St. Petersburg. I want to get down there and see it, being a stadium guy. But yeah, it's a weird place to play, I'm sure, for baseball.
Yeah, and I mean the Rays, their expectations aren't high, but they have players on that team where they can get scrappy, like today and even yesterday, where they walked it off and take care of mistakes. Like there was a lot of mistakes in that series from the Yankees. Blowing leads, couldn't make outs, didn't know how many outs there are. Jazz Chisholm doesn't even know how to make an out after that interview of, if I threw it to first and they threw it to second, is he still out? And I'm like,
Yeah, like
you've been playing in the league for how long, my man?
it doesn't even matter. The fact that you're playing on in the MLB and you don't know that. I mean, I don't know. Wow.
Yeah, that was a tough look. But, I even told you this, not on the show, but the biggest high risk, high reward, or the biggest problem you can have is running the same team back and expecting to get the same exact results of being a top offense. You have definitely exceeded expectations. You are currently the second best team in team ERA at 2.6. But you're the third worst batting average team at a 202 clip. You've got second in stolen bases, third in walks, 15th in home runs, and top 5 in quality starts. So, like we said, the starting rotation has not been the issue. Cam Schlittler's been fun. Max Fried has been elite.
Fried's
Ryan
been
Weathers.
really good. I actually just
Ryan
got
Weathers
I just
produced a
got a
good
Max
start.
Fried jersey T-shirt. That's how big I've gotten into him. He's
Yeah,
awesome.
he's a fun player, and
He really is.
he's very hard on himself too, which I respect. I
I
mean,
think that's a good thing. I think that's
yeah,
what you need in sports. I think.
yeah. I mean, it's just the biggest problem is Jazz, Wells, Caballero, McMahon, Grisham, Gritchick, and Escara are all batting under 200, and 2 of those players, Escara and Gritchick, have not gotten a base hit yet. So you're putting those guys consistently in the lineup, and
Yeah.
it's not good. You cannot just have Ben Rice be your only main contributor because he's been awesome. Right?
If we could talk about someone being good for us, I think Ben Rice can be thrown in that conversation. I mean, wow, just awesome.
Yeah, and I made the prediction on my own show that he's going to be an all-star and starting at first base in the American League this year. And I think now I think that bet is working out pretty darn solid because he was considered unlucky last year, and his year was phenomenal last year.
Yeah.
But I know if there's one player that you definitely probably want to talk about is Aaron Judge. Batting .218 so far, 4 home runs as of today, April 12th. Just, what have you kind of seen from him? And do you think this is, I know you said to me that you think this might be the start of a decline. Just want to know your thoughts on so far Aaron Judge through the first 15 games.
Well, I love the guy. He's my favorite Yankee. Like, just awesome, right? I think this is the beginning of something, like a decline. And I hate to say it. I saw it in the WBC. Now, look, we know the WBC for at least the USA was an absolute disaster. DeRosa completely derailed the talent on that team, pulling Aaron Boone-like tactics, going off statistics and not going off who's actually playing well, because it was just dumb. But again, I saw it in the WBC. He did not look good. And look, we know he's an elite player. We know he is, right? But when you get to a point where it's either a strikeout or a home run, which it's been for some time, but he's been solid enough to where it didn't matter. Now we're getting to a point where, okay, Judge, get us some quality, get us some hits now, and he can't do it because now we're starting to see these struggles become, more of a problem. Like I said, it was good at the beginning. It was fine because, he was doing it well enough. But now I think that imbalance in him at the plate is starting to impact the team and him as a player. And I think we started to see it in WBC, and it's kind of translating over to the Yankees right now. I don't know what you think about it, but I think that imbalance that he's had forever since he's been in the league, really, which, again, I love Aaron Judge, but you got to admit, it's either a strikeout or a home run with the guy. A home run for the guy. He's never been a solid guy that you rely on for a hit. You know what I mean? It's just either he's going to hit a bomb or he's going to go, he's going to hit a bomb in a game or he's going to go like 0 for 4 or 0 for 3 at the plate. You know what I mean? Like, you're never going to get that middle ground type with him, which, again, I think now it's starting to become a real issue. It was kind of a problem, but he was consistently hitting bombs enough to where it didn't matter. But now it's starting to show a little bit more, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I totally get the frustration from every single Yankee fan of Aaron Judge, for sure.
Because we know his talent. That's why. Because we know how good he is.
Yeah, and I think there were some at-bats in the Tampa Bay series that he put a lot better at-bats together, and he hit a home run today, so maybe that can be the start of something, hopefully.
Let's hope, yeah.
But yeah, the biggest thing for Judge and the biggest thing for this entire Yankee offense is the biggest problem is, if it was only Judge struggling and the rest of the offense doing their thing, I still think he gets talked about the same. I do. I still think the media gets into Aaron Judge the same if the entire lineup wasn't like if the entire lineup was struggling. I still think the entire media says, "Oh, it's Aaron Judge."
Oh,
to
yeah.
call you
No, I agree with
crazy,
that 100%. And I
you
think as
know?
Yankees fans, we wouldn't, but the media would. But I think now, where we're at right now, I think it is us looking at Judge. But if it ends up to a point where everyone starts playing like that, yeah, we're going to criticize everyone. I think as Yankee fans, the media won't, but Yankee fans will. But now, I think Judge is the main focal point for Yankee fans at this point. Right now. You know what I mean? I don't think it's just just, oh, yeah, let's jab Aaron Judge because of how good he is. No, I think he actually is he's worth being jabbed at right now, I think. Because there's other guys are doing fine. You know what I mean? Other guys are playing well. But when he underperforms, it matters more to the team than anyone else, I think. Like, it matters more than anyone else slumping. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand that 100%, right? You know, and obviously, you know, his at bats, like I said, have gotten slightly better, but there's no more victories when you're 8-7 and you started off 8-2, right? So
Right. Yeah.
I think this is what I think is what he did in 2024, where he batted 220, is what we're getting right now. And by the way, in 2024, he still had an elite season, right?
Yeah.
So I think what he's doing in 2024 is a replica of what we might get. Now, maybe we don't get 58 home runs. Maybe we don't. But I tell you what, the offense is better than what they are.
Yes.
But it's a major but. But there are a lot of players, and it's specifically the bottom of the lineup, they should have never been an option for this year. JC Escara should have never been an option for this year. Ryan McMahon, his bat is not good. You can't just be a defensive first team. You have to score to win in this game, right? You know,
Yeah.
I'd rather sacrifice a good amount of defense for the bat. Honestly, I would, right? I think when it comes to pitchers, the main pitcher you have to focus on for getting hits at third base is Max Fried. He is the highest pitcher that will get the ball to third base because of how he pitches, right? It's not, you know, with Cam Schlittler today, the Rays are a great team against the fastball. So you knew if Cam Schlittler is going to rely on that fastball, he's going to get hit. And that he allowed 3 runs, but still had 7 Ks. I think he gave you 5 innings. So really not mad at Cam.
No, he can't be.
But I still believe we're going to get a very good season, Aaron Judge. It's only been 15 games. I understand the frustrations. I understand why Yankee fans think this could be the decline. I understand all of that. I do, right? He's 34 or he's 33, entering 34.
Yeah.
You know, and he's played in right field predominantly, right? Stanton is your DH until 2020.
Say, when is his contract done?
I think he's got 2 years left on his deal following this year. So it might be 2029 that his contract is officially up. And that's if he even plays till 2029, right? But it's interesting because what I said today, the entire AL, the entire American League has not played their best baseball. There is not many teams that they can say that they were above 500. The Boston Red Sox has not been good enough. Your entire division has not been good enough, even though they are starting to catch up to you because, you know, you just lost 5 straight. And if you lose 5 straight, teams are going to catch up to you no matter what. But I don't think there's been a team in the American League where I look at them and I'm like, they might just take over and they're the team to beat. Like the NL, we already know. The Dodgers are first in every single offensive stat. But I look at the AL and I'm like,
anything different?
yeah, right? Like the AL, I'm like, some of these teams are coming off injuries. Some of these teams are very hit or miss. I'm not sure what we're going to get out of those teams. So that's really what I got for the Yanks. You know, it's not been good, but I do think they have the ability to turn it around. It starts with the bottom of the lineup. It starts with the bullpen. It's been very shaky. And this is the consequence you do have when you run the same team back.
Yeah.
But,
I agree.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't have anything else for the Yankees talk, we can kind of talk about the NFL draft.
Let's say we got into a little bit of our teams. I think we should get into a little overall of the draft itself.
Yeah. So
from other teams.
Yeah. So the NFL draft, the first thing I do have is kind of like your early predictions of how the top 5 is kind of going to start. Like, do you think there's going to be maybe an unexpected, not a trade, but maybe an unexpected player that you think might go where you're like, I didn't expect this at all?
Yeah. Well, I think now the way that things are looking with how teams have, like, how free agency went, Jeremiah Love, I think, is going to go way higher than he was anticipated, which I think everyone's predicting now. They're saying he's going to go to the Titans. I didn't see it at first, but if I look at it now, it makes the most sense. And then obviously this was a big one, and I think it even adds more to, what's happening in Las Vegas. I don't know if I said it on our show. I said it on one of the things I did, one of the sports talk shows I did. I said Kirk Cousins would be a perfect fit in Las Vegas with Mendoza. They are exact replicas of each other. And what do you know? It happened. I can't believe it because I kind of said it as a joke. I forget where I said it. I don't know if I remember if I said it on our show at Wilkes or if I said it with JD at JD's Empire Sports Talk, or I just said it in conversation with someone. But I'm like, Kirk Cousins would work perfectly with Fernando Mendoza. You know what I mean? Like, can you imagine them on the same team? And it happened.
I mean, veteran presence is everything, right? You get a veteran quarterback.
And especially someone like Kirk Cousins. It's just the personality. The two of them are so close to, like, similar personality-wise. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean, I'm pretty high on Clint Kubiak as an offensive.
I am too, and I think he's
mastermind.
Piecing. I think the team that they pieced for Kubiak is going to be great. I think it's a team that he's going to work well with, I think.
Yeah, so I mean, I do agree with the Jeremiah Love hype. I do think he is going to land in the top 5. I don't think he's going to get past that.
If he does, I'd be a little surprised just because of the teams that, like obviously at first it's like, oh, he's going to the Chiefs, and then they bring in Kenneth Walker, and then he's going to the Saints. They bring in Travis Etienne. It's like, okay, well, now I think a team like maybe the Tennessee Titans or even a team like the Browns maybe look at him and say, bring him in. Let's do it.
If anything, I think the 3 teams I think can take Jeremiah Love are the Titans, the Giants, and the Washington Commanders. I think those are the 3
Commanders,
teams.
Yeah, that's also a good one as well. I think so too. That's a good one.
I think Bill was fun. Jaworski Merced. I think he was fun. But I think with Washington, Jaden Daniels has been banged up. You just need a guy. You can just give him the football, 20 to 25 carries, and be a very good player, right?
Yeah.
I think they're also in the sweepstakes for Carnell Tate as well. But I'm very interested of what the Arizona Cardinals are gonna do, because there's been a source. They like Jeremiah Love. There's been a source that they might go offensive line. Like that,
they should go offensive line, but I'm also seeing that that the Jets might not take Avril Reese, and if they do, I think Arizona does. But I can't see the Jets not taking Reese. You know what I mean? They should. There's no reason why they shouldn't. But if they don't, I think he goes to the Cardinals. It would be a Jets to not take him, though.
I think the only thing that they'll do if they don't take Avril Reese is they obviously, the smoke screen is real, and they actually, flip it and end up taking David Bailey out of Texas Tech. But I also think
as good as Avril Reese, but
no, I agree with that. But I also don't rule out if they just decide to royally try and screw the Giants in a way and take Caleb Downs as high as 2.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, but
that would kind of suck for the Giants, but
Yeah, right. But what is a team that you kind of look at that can really crush this first round?
For me, a team that can really hit the jackpot per se. Personally, I just think the Tennessee Titans, just because of what I think with Robert Saleh and everyone, the coordinators he brought in and the potential with the team there. I think the Tennessee Titans can easily make, the most out of this draft. And again, I think the New York Giants are also another team in that talk, just because of, again, what they brought in, what they have. They can just, add another big piece to that. I think the Titans and Giants are in very similar situations, personally. If I had to pick one, though, I would probably say the Tennessee Titans, just because of where they're at.
I'm going to go a little bit different, and
Okay.
I'm going to take the team that has 2 first-round picks in the first round, and I'm going to take the New York Jets. I do. I think they can get Arvell Reese, and I think they can get a weapon for their quarterback, Geno Smith. I don't think it's, obviously the greatest option. Obviously, the Jets are not trying to win games, but I think they could actually land 2 really solid players, because I think they might have to trade up if they wanted to get Carnell Tate. I'm very high on Jordan Tyson.
Yeah, I was gonna say, he's right now, the ESPN draft has him going to the Chiefs.
Yeah, I don't hate that at all. I think Jordan Tyson's better than Carnell Tate, in my opinion.
That's not a ridiculous take, I don't think.
I think Jordan Tyson's better. I feel like this is another situation where injuries get in the way and people are very reluctant to take a guy like this, and then he ends up being very, very good. But
yeah,
I think the Jets can really win the first round. I think the Rams, if the Rams pick 13, I think they can really make a solid splash there. There's been rumors they might take Mekhi Lemon, wide receiver. They're another team that could honestly just take another risk and take Jordan Tyson and get away with it. They can go offensive line if they wanted to. I don't think also, one thing I'm going to say, I don't think Ty Simpson's going to the first round.
No. Everyone's saying that, but where's he going to go? Like seriously, where would he fit best? What team is going to take him? Like, not saying he's a bad player, but like, what team's going to need a quarterback besides
Steelers, Rams in the future?
I don't. But I think if the Rams do that, they're going to do it in the second round or whatever. Whenever they can't do that, they won't take Ty Simpson either. I don't think. I think they'll take someone else. They'll take like a lower round quarterback that wasn't projected to go first or second. I think if they were to do Matt Stafford's predecessor. But yeah, I think the Steelers are going to roll Will Howard. I don't think they're going to draft another quarterback. I think once Rodgers makes his decision whether he plays this year, which I think he's going to, it's a different topic, but I think he's going to now with McCarthy coming back. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't, though. And we probably won't find out till August because we know Aaron Rodgers, how he is, obviously, as NFL fans, right? But I don't think they're going to draft a quarterback this year. And I'm personally, I don't know if they ever will. I think they might roll with Will Howard.
Yuck.
Which you never know how it can end up, though. You never know, Vin. You never know. Maybe they'll try it and be like, "Oh, this is another Kenny Pickett situation. Let's draft someone else."
All right. I mean, the final thing we do have for the NFL draft is give me 3 of your favorite prospects. I kind of already said one of mine, but
yeah, absolutely. I'm going to say Ruben Bain. I think is going to be very, very good wherever he goes. He's going to be a solid defensive player in the NFL. Obviously, Fernando Mendoza. I think Vin knows this. I'm a very big Fernando Mendoza fan, obviously. And then number 3, that's a tough one. I think Kenyon Sadiq, possibly, because he was a guy that I had in mind if the Eagles didn't re-sign Goddard. I think wherever Sadiq goes, he's going to be pretty solid.
Solid. Obviously, I said Jordan Tyson is one of my favorite. Caleb Downs is one of my favorite for sure. I'm just big on these Buckeyes, man. Like Sonny Styles.
You can't not be big on Ohio State guys. I mean, they're always solid, always. For the most part. Not always, but most part.
I think my honorable mention is going to be Peter Woods. I think.
Okay.
Big fan of his game. But let's talk some hockey to wrap up the show. NFL playoffs, early cup prediction.
Oof.
Don't have to give me the matchup. Just who do you think is going to lift the Stanley Cup?
I people disagree with me, and you probably will too. I think the Minnesota Wild. I just have that feeling that this year is their year. I just do. I don't know why. I think the Minnesota Wild. maybe a hot take. People think I'm ridiculous for it, but I genuinely think the Minnesota Wild.
I wouldn't say that's a hot take. I wouldn't say that's a hot take at all. I think they're a pretty darn fun team. They got a lot of solid players on their team. The Quinn Hughes trade was huge for them.
Yeah.
I think that's helped them out a lot.
And here's another thing too, Vin. I don't think an Eastern Conference team is winning the Cup. I think whoever makes it out of the East, none of them are beating Colorado, Dallas, or Minnesota. That's my opinion, or Vegas even at this point. That's my opinion.
So you would say the East is overrated then?
I wouldn't say it's overrated. I just think
overrated doesn't mean bad either.
Yeah, no, I think when it comes to winning the Cup, yes, absolutely. But I think there's going to be some really good playoff series. But I think one of those three teams in the West is hoisting the Cup. Whoever makes it from the West is winning, because it's either going to be Minnesota, Dallas, Colorado, and possibly Vegas. I don't see Edmonton doing it at all. I don't at all. But yeah, I think whoever makes it if in the West is winning it.
And just in case you were wondering, the Islanders are also down 3-1, so that pretty much puts them out of a playoff.
Which is insane for the way the way people talked about them all year. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. They're down. Boston's up 3-2. Pittsburgh lost. Yeah. 3-2.
They got cut up by Washington. I was watching that game today.
Yeah. But I mean, I think Minnesota's a solid pick. I mean, the biggest thing why I can't take the Colorado Avalanche is the President's Trophy curse, man. Like,
that I agree with, but I think they're still very good. But yes, the President's Trophy curse, I agree with that. But that's why I didn't pick them. That's part of the reason why I didn't think they take the Cup.
I think a team that I'm super high on, and it's coming out of the East, it's the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yeah.
The only worry I do have with them, this team takes more penalties than I've ever seen. Over 1,000 penalty minutes this year. But listen, the biggest thing that I can say is when you have a goaltender that's hot, he can steal you a series. And I think with this Montreal-Tampa Bay series, it's going to be intense. I think it's going to 7, or it's at least going for how many games it is. And Andre Vasilevsky is going to be a key part of if they are able to win that series because of goaltending. Goaltending has stolen many series, and I think this is Vasilevsky that we're getting back to when we saw the 2 straight Stanley Cups, and Vasilevsky was on his game constantly. Kucherov, top point leader. Braden Point. They're getting Victor Hedman back eventually. So that is a team that is going to be loaded, and Florida's out of it. Florida's gone. They don't have to worry about Florida at all. They've got a good track record against Carolina, got a great track record against Pittsburgh. They can beat Philly. They can beat the Buffalo Sabres. I think they can beat a lot of these teams. I think the Habs are going to give them the toughest shot, though. I do say that.
I agree. Yeah, I think, and I think the Canadians are actually going to be very good. I think the Habs are going to be a very solid playoff team come through the year.
I guess let's get into our biggest sleeper. I will say this. I guess I'll start. I know I did say the Tampa Bay Lightning, but the Montreal Canadiens are my biggest sleeper. Like, if they can get past Tampa, no doubt in my mind that this is a team that can go to the Stanley Cup, in my opinion. The offensive power, Marty St. Louis is going to play a big factor in underdog mentality. This is a guy that has been on many teams that has been able to take down series when they're down 3-1 against Pittsburgh. With the Rangers, they were able to get it done. He is a great coach, a great motivator, one of the best, in my opinion. I'm glad they stuck with him because at the start, people were questioning if this guy's even going to be around the team. He's turned Cole Caulfield into a 50-goal scorer. Slavkovsky's done great. They have, I think, good enough goaltending that they can get a series done. They have strong young pieces, and they have one of the brightest futures in the NHL. So I know I did take the Tampa Bay Lightning to win, but I honestly think, I guess you could say whoever wins that series, in my eyes, might be going to the Stanley Cup.
Okay. And for me, I'm going out west, and they haven't officially clinched yet, but I think they're going to. as much as I hate these guys, I think they can make some noise. I don't know about making it because I think the West is stacked. Give me the Anaheim Ducks. I think that's a team that can do some damage, at least in the first couple rounds.
Interesting.
I think they've earned their way to that spot. Personally,
I like that little Joe Quenneville back to the Stanley Cup.
They get bumped out of their spot after I say that. Watch. Something will happen. But no, I don't know about them winning it, like I said, but I think that's a team that can shock some people and maybe make it a little bit farther than people anticipate. Because I don't have full trust in Utah. I don't.
No.
I think, and this is going into our next topic, it's someone else in the West that I kind of mentioned earlier, but most overrated team, Vin. We have it here.
Who do you got?
Who do I have?
Yeah.
For me, I know this sounds kind of crazy. I would say the Sabres because, yeah, they've had a solid year, but I just think it's just like a lightning in a bottle type deal with them. Who knows what they can do? But I have to agree with you on the Oilers. My God. There's nothing there. They're going to get in and nothing's going to happen. It's just this is not the same Oilers team we saw the last 2 years at all.
Yeah, and Anaheim is up 1-0, by the way. But also, Jake did mention that from our script. I was going to take the Oilers because I had that written down as well. Because goaltending,
I can't think anyone else.
Goaltending is everything, man. Like it is such a big component, and Connor McDavid can only take you so far, unfortunately. And Tristan Jarry sucks.
Yeah,
Tristan Jarry sucks. Like
and you don't have Draisaitl either.
Yeah, you don't have Draisaitl for a bit. I don't even think Tristan Jarry has a 900 save percentage in the playoffs. That is how bad he is.
Unbelievable.
He couldn't ever get a series done when the Penguins played against the Islanders. He gifted the Islanders that series multiple times. And when they traded Jarry, I'm like, all right, that's a great move for Dubas that he finally got him out of the building.
Yeah.
But, I think another, overrated team that I don't think is going to make any noise is the Boston Bruins. Like,
really?
I don't think they're going to do anything. I don't think they're going to do anything really.
Yeah, I think if anyone's not going to do anything, it's going to be the Senators. I don't know. I like Boston more than Ottawa.
They're like one day I like Boston more, one day I like Brady Tkachuk more. Like that's how I view
right.
That's
I agree. But right now I'm higher on Boston than Ottawa personally.
That's fair. I just feel like there's a little bit more. I think there's just a little bit more upside because without David Pastrnak, scoring.
Yeah, you're right.
That series comes to grit, and I feel like it's pretty close. I could obviously see why, don't take Boston or you take Boston over Ottawa. You don't know what Linus Ullmark you're going to get. If you got a good one, you can be in for a great ride. But if you don't get the Linus Ullmark that we know, you're going to be out in 5, right?
Yep.
I think another team that I think can make a lot of noise is Dallas. I like them.
Yeah.
Last 3 Western Conference finals.
This could be their year. They do it. This is the year that they can do it. I personally think Minnesota wins the cup, but I wouldn't be shocked if Dallas did either. Yeah.
I think that's a series. Like if it is lined up that they play each other, it's whoever beats each other is going to make the finals, I think.
I agree. Yes. That's a very good point. Yes.
But I guess to round off this, one of the biggest things I'm happy for the playoffs is we get a lot of different teams like Buffalo, Anaheim making some noise. They're up 1-0 right now against the Canucks. Yeah.
The Flyers.
The Flyers, like a Battle of Pennsylvania. We haven't got that since 2018.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fun. Like Montreal, like that is one arena I want to get to. I will say I would
Bell
love
Center.
to.
Yeah, I want to get there too
I
at
would
some
love to
point.
go to Montreal and just see just the noise and a playoff game. Like Cole Caulfield, I have loved him since Wisconsin. Honestly,
Yeah.
short player, like doesn't matter the size. Guy just rips it and 50 goal score. Like they haven't gotten a 50 goal score since what Kovalchuk or someone like that. Like
Yeah, it's
someone
been a minute.
probably like that. But yeah, I think those are really the main teams for the playoffs. Obviously, I'll probably have a video, probably maybe with Jake as well of our actual NHL bracket. Maybe we'll probably
I'd say I'd
be
like
able to
to
get
do a
something
bracket,
done.
yeah.
Yeah, but we're definitely gonna have Jake more often on the show, probably breaking down the Yanks and yelling at them, and maybe Aaron Judge will.
Hopefully, we don't have to do much more of that come forward. Hopefully, this is the after this show they start playing good.
Yeah, hopefully they watch, and we also didn't even mention Brian Cashman, so we left him off the hook along with Aaron Boone. So you got lucky
during the off season.
Yeah, right. But yeah. Anyways, guys, that is gonna do it for the Inside New York Sports Collab with Jake Mills. Of course, I am Vin. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.